Hey everybody, it's Brandon, and I'm sitting here inside Mojo and just waiting for Ehren to come. We're going to be talking with him about the mass transit issue in the city. They just passed actually the vote to go ahead and start building the nickel plate line from the northeast corridor of Indianapolis. So it'll start at Noblesville, take up Fishers, run down town to Union Station, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen in the interim until that happens. So with that passed, it's actually a positive in moving the city forward and getting the congestion and a lot more friendly for commuters, especially with, as we're all dealing with right now, high gas prices and a lot of the other cities, to make this a lot more commuter-friendly city. So when he gets here, we'll have some questions for him and get his response. Since last we talked, the approval for the development of the nickel plate line in the northeast corridor hasn't been approved. So what does that exactly mean?
What it means is that we've given definition to what we think transit in that corridor could look like, rapid transit in that corridor could look like. Now we've got to do some work to really assess the environmental impacts of what that proposal is, assess the economic impact of what that proposal is, and really start to define the cost so that we can move forward on a funding strategy. The other thing that we're going to do is start truly developing a regional transportation vision for all modes, for all people, for the entire region.
Okay, and regional, define a little bit more of the regional.
9 counties of central Indiana are physically how we define the region. Marion County, the 7 adjacents, plus Madison make up central Indiana right now. It's 1.2 million people. We intend to grow over the next 30 years to 2.25 million people. How are we going to accommodate that growth? How are we going to move people through our region? How are we going to improve air quality? How are we going to provide new economic opportunities? We define the region in that way, and we know that we've got to bring diversification to our infrastructure. We've got to find as many different ways to get people moving throughout the region and get some of them out of their cars.
Touched on environmental impact. What type of impacts on the environment are we going to assume?
The environmental impact statement process is a very well-defined federal process, a checklist, if you will, of all the environmental impacts that you must assess. Everything from air quality to traffic to noise to things that are called social justice issues, the impacts on neighborhoods. I think traffic, it's a very comprehensive list of all the potential environmental impacts that the transit recommendation could have.
One of the things that I know and reading, obviously keeping up on this, there is going to have to be some infrastructure rebuilt as far as the tracks, the bridges between where it's going to start and where it's going to finish. Sure. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
The strength of the nickel plate line, which is owned by the Hoosier Heritage Port Authority, the strength of that line is A, its location, and B, that the right-of-way is intact. The thing about the rail that's there today is it's about 100 years old. Subsequently, it's an out-of-date rail. You've got a roadbed that's in decay. It's not welded, so it's got the clickety-clack sound of the trains on it. So the step in terms of bringing modern rapid transit in that corridor requires building and replacing new rail. But the good news is that right-of-way is intact.